was kissing you with my eyes open, but you said keep them closed.
Hello ladies,
Hi.
gentlemen,
Hi.
Steve Buscemi. So today I'm here with my best friend, Aliana.
Hi, I'm Aliana.
We have Cajun fries, we have crab,
The snow crab, and
Yes,
then
period.
it has potato, sausage, corn, and shrimp with the head off. Because with the head on, that's disgusting.
We're not supposed to so young
We're not
here.
supposed to so young.
We like it with the head off.
Real clip.
In this musical mukbang, we're going to talk about the last 5 years, because that's a musical that her and I really like. Let me take a taste of the sausage. And what will you first be eating?
My potato.
Period.
We got mild, or I don't know if it's mild, but we got Cajun sauce.
Uh-huh.
So,
Good.
to add a little bit of a backstory. Last time I went to go and get crab in the city.
Oh yeah, remember in the last mukbang we mentioned this.
Oh yeah. Oh right. I absolutely hated it.
Oh my god, he's strong. Ow.
Did you say, can I do a split?
Can I get a piece of your... Have this little bite and see if you like it. This little ass piece.
Do I eat that? That doesn't look like I'm supposed to eat it.
You like it? So the thing about the last 5 years is that it's from two different perspectives at 2 different times. So its start is technically the end. What did you say?
But the two main characters are a couple, Kathy and Jamie.
Cassie, it's about my dog.
No.
How am I supposed to? I gotta give him the old rub and tug, I guess. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. How?
B-Love always does it.
I know, right?
So we must be able to.
A piece of this shrimp. Let me have a piece of this shrimp. Is there a show? I don't care.
That's good.
So yeah, it's a couple, Jamie and Kathy, and so the story starts Kathy's at the end of their relationship and Jamie's at the beginning.
Yeah, so just to break it down into simpler terms, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Jamie is telling the story from beginning to end, and Kathy is telling the story from end to beginning.
Hello. So, don't want to bother you guys. The video shall continue. However, I just wanted to preface that I do these mukbangs from memory of how I remember the show, and usually I do it right. But during this, I may or may not have mixed up 2 of Kathy's songs. I just mixed up Summer in Ohio, and I'm a part of that. I messed up the order, but it's fine. I just mixed up 2 songs, so please don't yell at me.
It's gonna break my damn scissors.
Got yourself.
Oh my god, my scissors. Oh, ooh.
Ooh, look at that
want
piece.
a
You gotta
piece?
show them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's split it. Whoa. So this is the piece I just got. Let's split it.
Out of a piece of snow crab, because they're really tiny. That's good.
Ooh.
That's all.
Let me put it on your plate. Okay.
Thank you.
So, the beginning, however, starts at the end with Kathy. And so, ooh, it tastes good. Maybe you just didn't like the other ones. Right?
Yeah, I think it was a sauce. Ooh, look at that piece.
Ooh.
Y'all see that? Okay, so the story.
So, Kathy's upset because, basically, did they even say, divorce? I don't even think it's divorce at this point. He's just, leaving her.
He just left her.
He left her a note, and he was like, get that bread, get that head, then leave. And so, she's reading this letter, she just read it, and she's like, ah. So she's upset, it makes sense.
As one would if someone left them.
So she's upset. She sings like a whole song. Also, this musical has no like scene where it's just talk. Like, it has no book. It's just music. And I feel like you can interpret a lot more with songs.
Yeah, you can.
She's kind of upset that he thinks that he has the right to just pull the plug.
She feels like, from her point of view, but she feels like it shouldn't have ended like that. Instead of upping and leaving, like, they never really talked about it. So, from her point of view, she's just confused.
Especially since he starts in the beginning and she starts at the end. It's so weird because you see her being like all upset, being like, oh my gosh, over. He just like ended it. And it's completely contrasted by him starting because it's like all fresh. They really like each other. So it's like, what happened? What went wrong? You know? Sure. I feel like I've had a lot of stress. Put it on your plate. Okay.
Okay, so in the next song, we see Jamie starting from the beginning of their relationship. So it's kind of like a little bit of a spicy scene. Basically it's when they first meet and they're seen hooking up. But Jamie's talking about in the song how all his life he's kind of felt forced to date Jewish girls, and Kathy's like the first person that he's dated that wasn't Jewish. So he kind of goes along the line and talks about all the Jewish girls that he's been with and all the ones that he felt like he had to be with. And he's like, wow, I have someone that's not Jewish? This is beautiful.
Imagine a Jew not standing Jews. Mini Hitler.
I think we're breeding something that's not supposed to be bred.
Imagine. I've always wanted to play Kathy. Like, you could. But they would, like, even though I'm not Jewish, they would be like, the whole song doesn't make any sense because I look Jewish. He'd be like, thank God, someone not Jewish, and everyone in the audience would be like, she's not?
Clearly a... Okay.
See, I'm smiling. And so it's from her perspective?
Another,
Her perspective.
Her
perspiration. Okay. She's sweating up a storm.
So we're kind of... I don't think it's the same order each time, but for the most part, it's back and forth from one song to the other.
So, like, towards the end of their relationship, and you see... Are you okay? You see Kathy and Jamie, like, next to, like, this pond, this lake. Are you in frame?
I'm sorry. Look at all the sauce on my watch.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
When it's, like, a back and forth from end to beginning, it's just them singing. Like, sometimes they'll, like, have the other person sing, but, like, when it's his side in the beginning, it's him singing.
It's literally just their point of view.
Yeah. And so, she's, like, next to, like, this lake. She's on this pier with him. And it kind of looks like they're, like, trying to, like, get over something, but at this point we don't know what. But she's like, we have to get past this.
But, like, the energy in the studio is completely off.
So, at this, like, lake, they're in, Ohio right now. So she's there because she's an actress and she's, like, doing a show. And so, she's telling him, she's like, I know we've had a lot of issues, but you're here. It's her birthday. You can see my show. We can hang out for my birthday, and then you can go back to New York. Like, everything's great. Like, we're gonna get past this. He's like, oh, actually, I can't be here, like, tomorrow. Like, it's just, like I can't.
Like, it's hectic at work. Oh.
He's like, yeah, it's, like, really busy. Like, I can't. She's like, you can tell she's starting to get upset, but she's like, it's fine. Like, she's saying this whole song being like, we can get past this. She doesn't want to, like, immediately, the minute something goes wrong, be
so
like,
when
actually,
he's like, we can't do anything this weekend, she's like, oh, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
But then she's like, at least we have tonight. And he's like, actually, there's no flight tomorrow, so I have to leave tonight. She's like, okay. You know what makes me... She, like, starts, like, going berserk. The song takes a different turn.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets a little bit angry. And she's like, oh, you could go and play with your little girlfriends, because I don't know, it's not said that she suspects, but I think she knows something's up.
Oh, so you'd rather hang out with like all these girls and all these people that are gonna like be up your ass. Because his whole book signing thing is like just people being like, oh my god,
you're amazing, I love you.
Shakespeare, Jamie. And then she's like starts crying. And he's just like, he's just standing there. You know how guys are. One time I told my best guy friend over the phone that I felt like crying. And he was like, okay, call me when you're done, and hung up.
And he's just standing there while she's crying. And I think that's the point where she really realizes that she can't save it, because he's just standing there not comforting her like a husband should do or anything. He's literally just standing there watching her cry.
So we're back at the beginning of the relationship with Jamie.
The song is titled Moving Too Fast, and it is exactly what its
the
title
is.
Basically, this is the point where we start to see the kickoff of his career. Another reason why the marriage kind of went downhill.
Yeah, and it's a big factor during like the whole relationship. So the whole song, even like, it's like so crazy because not that he's complaining.
It was kind of like he was a struggling writer, and all of a sudden he gets this call saying, oh wow, your book's going to be published.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Your career's finally going to take off. That was a pickups. Yeah.
Oh, and even, yeah, I did ask. I'll get more. But he even like says, he's like, after like they say, oh, we like this one thing you wrote, he's like, okay. But then it shows, what does it show? Oh, like he gets this whole apartment, and he's like, what is it, 6,000, 100,000, some amount of money without writing a word. Like they just see like that he's good with this one book, and basically like rides off of that for like a while.
Thought about that.
It's so crazy. Like he gets an assistant, like he gets like a whole like book edit. Like he becomes like a writer, and before he was like trying to be, like seemingly like so quickly. And so like the thing says, like he gets an apartment, not even doing anything more than the first piece of work that got him like big. So then the next part, we go back to Kathy towards the end of their relationship. But like in this part, it's like not like the last two. I feel like the last two is like, wow, this relationship's going down. But then in Summer in Ohio, it's like, oh.
Before you say that, I don't think we ever mentioned that Kathy is actually, she's trying to be on Broadway, I guess. She's a struggling actress. In Summer in Ohio, we get to know a little bit more about her profession and what she's trying to work towards. So we see her going to all these different auditions.
No.
Yeah, isn't she dancing in auditions?
Yeah, but no. So like,
you know, don't see her in all these.
Yeah, like you know, in See I'm Smiling, like she's in that flew. You know how in Summer in Ohio? I mean, no. You know how in See I'm Smiling, they're on like a pier, like a little lake in Ohio. Summer in Ohio kind of like explains why she's there. Like she got a role there. Like she's doing like if you're not familiar with theater, they're like summer stock. So like, let's say you're trying to be a Broadway actress in New York and you're like struggling. Then over the summer especially, a bunch of different states that are in New York will do shows that are like big productions, but it's not like national tour or Broadway. They just want something for like their little state to have as entertainment during the summer. So it's her talking about how she's so excited, like how she misses her husband so much. Like she's talking to Jamie, telling him about how it is in Hawaii. I would say Hawaii.
I think in this song you get to see like a little bit of a glimpse about how much Jamie's career popped off, because in one part of the song she's like, oh, I saw your book at a Target in Kentucky.
Yeah, she's literally in Kentucky, like trying to make it as an actress in Kentucky.
And then she sees his book there.
Like he's gone. Oh, and she also mentions that like one of the guys that like works on the summer stock in Ohio, like has like a bit of a crush on her, like kind of hits on her. And she's like, but he not getting any of this non-Jewish punani
because it's all for
married. You. Yeah, exactly. I'm just here, Mrs. Jamie Wellerstein. So like, you're like, oh, they're married now.
Hello. So my camera does this fun little thing where it just dies, not from battery or for the memory card not having enough space. It just stops recording because it thinks that someone pressed record and then just left. But it's fine because I'm getting a new camera. It basically cut out us talking about a whole nother song, the Shmuel song that Jamie sings. And it basically is about her coming home to their apartment and her being really, really upset because, you know, she's really struggling as an actress and she's so sick and tired of this. And we're back at the beginning of the relationship because that's where Jamie is. And Jamie's trying to comfort her, and since he's a writer, he like comes up with this whole like fantasy story about a guy in Russia. And it basically, this whole song is kind of random because it is him telling her a story, so it doesn't really serve as a context. But what I always see it as is that it shows a glimpse of how sweet Jamie is. Like, he could be like, you're a good actress, like I don't know what to tell you, like I'm sorry that this is happening. But he basically like performs for her, tells her this whole story to try to make her feel better. And it's just a really cute scene to show how much he loves her. But yeah.
I'm a part of that. It's the next song.
Okay, so I'll just re-explain it.
Yeah.
So a part of that, just to give you the bare bones, and then Jasmine can emphasize a little bit more. But it's literally just Kathy gushing over how much Jamie has come and how much they've grown together. And they've seen success. And she's been through the whole journey. She's like, whoa, he's really like picking up all this heat. Like, he's really taking his career off to the next level, and I'm a part of that. I get to see the whole process unfold.
But in the movie, like, it takes place
at one of the events that Jamie had. So she's like walking around talking to different people. She's like, you know, I see him all the time like working. There's one part where she's like, oh, he's staring out the window working on his like pieces. So just strictly on them.
So when she gets like asked, she's like, they're always just talking to her about it, you know? They're like, what is it about Jamie Wellerstein that really hits different? What is the genius behind him?
What makes him tick? I'm kidding.
She's like talking about him. She's like, oh, he does this and that. Because especially since they're both in the arts, I think she gets a little bit uncomfortable, like, talking and, like, and being so proud of his, and no one's being like, so what do you do?
Yeah.
What's going on with you? It's
I
like,
think,
how does Jamie go to the bathroom? And she's like, oh, okay.
I also think, like, think about it. If you were in that position, you were a struggling actress, and your husband, like, popped off after one book, and you're at all these book signings for him, and everyone's asking about him, wouldn't you be like, okay, I'm so happy for him, but this kind of should be me too?
Because they don't even want, like, I think she's in that feeling where she's like, people only talk to me to talk about Jamie.
Think about it. I'm always talking about, oh, I'm a part of that, right? Like, I must fit in somewhere, but she really wasn't at all. She didn't fit in anywhere here.
Yeah. I think especially since she realizes, like, I think through the song, she's like, if I wasn't here, he wouldn't be here.
But that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
She kind of, if she wasn't there, I don't think it would have altered much.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, it's their engagement one. For the next 10 minutes, and then it's them singing together.
Correct, you're correct.
And since he started in the beginning, this is sort of around where they meet in the middle. Though, because, like, it's obvious if she's starting at the end, he's starting in the middle. I mean, the beginning, they have to meet each other in the middle. Yeah. So for the show, the middle is them getting engaged, / married.
From both perspectives.
Yeah. So they're, like, at a park in the city, and he's, like, thinking to himself, like, oh my god, I'm gonna get engaged. Like, he's like, it's a really cute song. I think especially because they sing a lot of it together.
Yeah, I think it's cool. In the movie, they film it really interestingly. So it's kind of like they're going into the park and you hear what Jamie's saying, but you don't hear the other side of the conversation, which is Kathy. And then once he finishes his part, you hear Kathy walking into the park.
And it's the same thing, but with her.
You hear Kathy walking into the park, hearing what she's saying, but not hearing what Jamie's saying.
it just shows like how, because even though they're cute, I think this song shows a lot of how different they are, especially since he's like, for the next 10 minutes, and hers is like, forever, like, she's like, I'm in this for like the long haul. And he's like, let's be together for the next tomorrow, and the day after that. And she's like, no, like, right now I'm ready to sign up for everything. And he's like, let's take it a day at a time, which I think, like, kind of correlates. Like, you can definitely say, like, oh, I'm ready for the future, and, like, I take it one day at a time. But, like, I think they mean it as, like, they're on kind of different pages, even though it sounds cute together. The thing, she's like, I want to be your wife. I want to bear your child. He's like, let's hold hands for the next 20 minutes.
Well, I'm not falling off, but I don't need any more.
And so next, I actually think when they switch off, it's like really like cool, because for her after this point, it can only get better, because the beginning was like her, at the end it was sad, but you know, with him it can only get worse because it has to explain more of what happened. So it's funny because right after their wedding thing is his song, and he sings a song and goes, what is it? It's fine. I don't know if that's exactly what it's called, but it's like, it's fine, I'm fine, we're fine. And so he basically sings, I didn't know this was like a guy problem, probably is because guys suck, but he basically sings like this whole thing about like, damn, I can really never have sex with anybody else.
He's like, oh my god, I'm a popular author,
and
all these chicks like me, and I can't get no pussy. Like, come on.
But it's like, you kind of feel bad for him because throughout the whole thing he was like, I wish that it could just be me and Kathy and I would never have to see another girl my whole life. The full picture still isn't out. You're like, okay, so why'd they break up? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
But this gives you like the first little glimpse, especially his song, because he's like, is like, I wish it was just me and Kathy and I wouldn't have to look at another girl. But there are all these girls all around. He even like says like, it's fine, I'm fine. Like, he even says, he's like, it's not a problem. Like, it's not like a issue plaguing their relationship. It's just that he's like, this is annoying, but like, I obviously love her, so like, you know.
That song, what I'm trying to say is that song is the first, from what we hear of Jamie, of the relationship kind of going downhill. So this is the start of that.
She's going towards the beginning, and she sings Climbing Uphill. There's Something in My Teeth. It's basically her being upset, because like you said, she's a struggling actress, and this song, it really focuses on that, because before you're like, we get she's struggling, but this one is really like, yeah, especially like in her job, to always feel like just like so invisible. Like, she's trying to like, you know, be an actress like she is, but no one's like really paying attention to her. Like, she goes to auditions, but that's like about it. Girl, like, she's like, I'm not going to be the girl who like tried to do something with her life and is like, actually no, my husband, the orthodontist. Like, all she has to talk about is her guy.
It's like, on one side, she doesn't want to keep being the spokesperson for her husband. She doesn't want to keep living her life vicariously through her husband, but everything that she does, she compares it to what he's doing.
Yeah, in the movie, she's like coming out of the audition, she's like upset, and then it switches from his side to his side going towards the end for just a little bit, when she's doing the exact same thing, singing the same song at a different audition, not getting it, and then leaving the theater and calling Jamie. And then Jamie's like, what's wrong? Like, she says like, again, that the same thing has been happening. And it just shows like how much of this she's taken, because she's going towards the beginning, he's now going towards the end, and she's still in the same exact situation. Him again, he's like, all right, I'm going to be there like to comfort you again because of this horrible audition you've had. And literally while he's saying that, like, his assistant, I think it is, like, just like walks by and he's like, I'll be there soon.
He's like, I'll be there soon, Kathy. And
he's like checking her out while he's like,
how I viewed it That whole point in the movie.
Because in the musical they don't do that.
In the movie, when she was walking into the office and he was like, I'll be there soon, like checking her out, I genuinely thought that he went in there and hooked up with her.
Yeah,
like, that's what
why
it was
late.
That's why I was suggesting why he was late. I thought he was following her into the office and he hooked up with her. That's what I thought. Oh yeah, we both think of this song very differently.
Oh my god, can I have your tails?
Yes, sure. If I Didn't Believe in You, such a powerful song, let me tell you.
Deadass.
See, I'm Smiling and If I Didn't Believe in You is literally explaining their exact point of views in the most powerful song in the different perspectives.
There's another
Jamie
one of his
wants
things,
Kathy to go to another one of his book signings or events or whatever, and she's like, I'm not going to be a spokesperson for you anymore. I'm not going to have people ask me questions about you. Like, do it yourself, go by yourself. I'm done with this. And he's like, can you just go for me? And she's like, no. And he's like, listen, I've supported you all this time, and for you to treat me like this is completely and utterly like disrespectful. He's like, every single thing you do, I put 110% into making you think that you can do it. If I didn't believe in you, you wouldn't be like in the position that you were.
Oh, and you know what I think is so cool? Like, he's like, if I didn't believe in you, like, we wouldn't be here. I think that's like such like a contrast to when she was like, oh, like, I'm a part of his success, but no, I'm not. But he's like, you're a part, like, I'm a part of, like, your not success. Like, I'm here for you even though you don't succeed.
But at the end of the song, he's like, I will not fail so you can be comfortable. I will not lose because you can't win. And that's when she's literally
and
like...
she gets her, like, upset.
She literally, like, is about to cry. And she goes in the room and closes the door.
So, yeah, I agree that was, like, a harsh line. But I definitely, especially, like, how Jeremy Jordan and how Norbert Leo Butts, like I guess, what's the word? Like, execute it. I think they definitely could be like, fuck you. But the way that they, like, say it is that it's like they're just saying what's, like, on their mind even though it sounds bad. Also, like, sucks because throughout this entire thing,
He's exhausted.
He's been, like, such a sweetheart. Like, even though he sang a whole song like, oh, I can't do anybody else, like, from her point of view or from even his, like, he's been such a sweetheart. And I think this is him just being like, why do you have such a problem with me doing well?
Like, this is the amazing thing about musicals or, like, even movies in general. You watch it so many times and you can still get, like, different things out of it. And each time your perspective develops and develops and develops. And
next is her singing I Can Do Better Than That.
It talks about one of the relationships that she was in.
And, like, where she grew up.
And where she grew up. And also talking about, oh, she had this best friend. She became pregnant. She, like, grew up in this little house and all this. She, the best friend moved in this little house with, like, her drummer boyfriend or whatever. And she's like, I can do better than that. Like, I'm trying to be an actress. Like, I'm so good.
That's weird.
It's kind of like, I don't know, she's boasting. It's a little weird.
I feel like...
And she's boasting in the most modest way possible.
Yeah, she's like, I can do better than that. And it's like, it sounds like good because she's like, oh, she, like, thinks... Like, she thinks, like, that she can, like, she is, like, really aspiring for bigger and better things, but she does it in such, like, a weird way, because, like, I want to be an actress, but, like, you, or, like, Taylor was like, oh, I want to, like, major in this, or do that. I wouldn't be like, well, that might be good for little old you, but I'm going to be a star.
Oh my god, this is the song where, you know it's over. Like, you know that this is the end. Because in this song, we see that Jamie actually went through with the deed. And he...
With his assistant.
Went and hooked up with his assistant. Oh yeah, in the movie, you just see hoe after hoe after hoe after hoe.
But in the musical, in just, like, productions or on Broadway, they have Jamie, and then you see, like, this lump in the bed, but you assume it's Kathy.
I assumed it in the movie as well, but then the person turned around and it was the assistant. Which is also... Never mind. I'm gonna shut up.
It's not even that he's like, oh shit, what have I done? Like, he talks to her like he's in love with her just as much as he was in love with Kathy.
And second of all, if you think it's that bad that you're almost about to cheat, don't even do it. Like, just end it, because you're both suffering all this time. The last song is Goodbye Until Tomorrow / I Could Never Rescue You. So this song, they split it.
Just like
So
their engagement wedding.
It's just like the next 10 minutes. So
it's just like to close.
The closing song. It's the closing song for him, and technically the beginning song for her.
But it's the end of the show. Yeah.
But it's the end of the show.
But the fact that she's like goodbye until tomorrow, it's sad because you can tell that like through that with like CM smiling or like even the end when she's like, why did he leave me?
She's
like she always has
hopeful.
a little glimmer of hope, and it's so sad because this is the beginning, and you're like, but don't do that because it's not gonna work.
Then I Could Never Rescue You is he's talking about, this is where he actually explains that he's leaving. So he's writing this all in a letter. He's like, I called the assistant, tell me pack my bags. I went downtown, closed the bank accounts. Not even gonna tell you. I'm gonna write this all in a letter. And then he's like, we can't compromise anymore. Like, we're literally at the point of no return. We can't go to a therapist. We can't compromise. There's nothing we can do about it. Too much has happened. It's kind of like reliving the whole relationship again.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't want to put someone through that, but it's art.
And the main lesson of this movie is
date a Jew.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, have a good night. Have a good morning. Have a good Rosh Hashanah.
I hope.
Bye. Okay, perfect.